So, I was looking for a good example of server-side request forgery, vulnerable source code, and I came across, I wanted to actually research it. So I went to ChatGPT and actually tried to research it a little bit more to see if I can get a better source code. So I came across this source code, and one thing I realized is actually ChatGPT source code provided, it might not always work for you. You might have to actually sometimes refactor the code to make it work. This would be a good example, like prompt code, and I actually gave me this answer saying how to fix it. Now, the concept is correct, obviously. What it tried to do is actually add a list of domains, trusted domains, and basically it does have a REST controller. It's using Spring REST controller, and as you can see here, the concept works. So if it is out of any of this two domains listed here, one is trusted.com and the other one api.trusted.com. It actually creates a list using those two URLs. And basically, what it does is when a user enters the URL, it tries to actually look for it on the allowed list uh, inside the list. And if it doesn't find it, basically it returns back saying URL not allowed. So not concept-wise, it is correct, but it seems to be there might be an issue with what ChatGPT recommended as a fix. So what we're going to try to see is actually this one. We're going to try to implement this controller. I'll try to implement this controller in ChatGPT and try to see if we can run the URL and maybe supply a different URL other than what is listed here. And also I'll try to add system.out a println statement just to see what kind of domains it is actually we're entering. So, and also at the end, what I'll try to do is actually I'll try to fix the code, refactor the code, and make it work. So that way we can, this is just to demonstrate. Every code that you get in ChatGPT might not work all the time. So you might need to do a little bit of research and find out, and also a little bit of testing. Because I know a lot of people they're under the impression that as long as you can use ChatGPT, everything should be working uh, as a code wise. But we're gonna try to see that in a minute. First thing, it is using REST controller. So what I did is actually I already created the project and everything. What I'm going to try to do is actually I'm going to try to create the controller here, and we're going to try to run it and show that it is actually not working as it should, and also fix it. So let's go ahead and try to do that now. I'm going to go ahead and copy this code. Um, but first thing, let's go ahead and create this class, secure controller. So I'm gonna use everything that is actually recommended here. I'm not gonna change. Maybe I'll add a print line statement so we can see what it is doing. So I already created a project here, and it should work fine. It's just basic thing, and also I have my fixed controller here after refactoring it. But basically, what it does is just ChatGPT testing. So let's go ahead and create the controller. I'm gonna go ahead and create it in this package, ChatGPT test controller package. So class, I'm gonna give it the same name, secure controller, finish. All right, so we have the controller now. Let me go ahead and go back to ChatGPT. This is the source code. I'm gonna copy the source code. I'm gonna replace it. Obviously, I'm gonna leave the package that I created. It doesn't. So now let me go ahead and add one print line statement so we can see what it is doing. I'm gonna the reason why I'm adding this statement is I'm just gonna try to see. So basically what the source code is gonna do is gonna accept a URL parameter and I'm gonna try to match it if the domain is part of this two domains listed here, and if it's not, it's gonna say URL not allowed. Now the reason why I'm posting is I just want to show that I'm actually using a URL that is actually listed as part of the list, but it's just not, it's the source code is not working as it should. And later on, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to see, as you can see here, I created my another controller. Basically the same code, it's just the issue is right here. It's not using the right statement, but let's go ahead and try to run this, and I'm going to go ahead and save it. All right, run as Java application. No issues here. All right, Tomcat started, port 8080, and request mapping as at fetch. So we're gonna go ahead and try to use that. So let me open up this column for slash. Yeah, trusted.com. So I'm gonna go ahead and, as you can see, it's not coming up, but this should have worked because this is part of the list of domains that is trusted. So let's go ahead and take a look at the code. So basically, if you look up here, what it is drawing as an error message is URL is not allowed. But that shouldn't be the case because this trusted.com is part of the URL. And also we have this println statement. It's just going to go ahead and print that out for us, what domain we used, which is the trusted.com domain. So technically this code should have worked. The concept wise it works, but in this refactoring, so what I did is actually I tried to fix the code a little bit, and I actually created a controller. Everything is the same except the fact that I gave it a different name, and obviously I gave it a different request mapping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and replace this. The issue is right here, so I'm going to go ahead and copy this. First, let's stop this. Terminate the process and go ahead and clear this off. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my controller, and so I'm going to replace this. Alright, so let me go ahead and save it. Let's run it again. Alright, it's running now. Should come up. So you can see it's running on port 8080. I still have this open, which is what is giving us an error message earlier on. So if I actually do this, yeah, I pulled up the site, and also if we go back to here, there's no error, and I'm using the same domain, and the println statement is actually printed out the domain name, which is part of this. So yeah, the whole point of it is actually in ChatGPT, the source code might not always be correct all the time. For the most part it is, but sometimes you might have to play around and try to find where the issue is and try to fix it. All right, thank you.